For the first time in our history, our board of directors had to make tough decisions last month of pulling back funding. And though the need has grown tenfold, our income has not nearly kept up at that same pace. And we cannot sustain the volume of requests. We had to pull back our goal of helping people outside the 5 cities in the Tri-Valley area. And we had to pull back on issuing third grants to returning cancer patients. And we had to pull back on the quantity of grants we can issue per month. We do not receive funds from insurance. We do not receive state or federal government funds. And most of our income comes from individuals and tonight's event. We are the only cancer charity in the Tri-Valley that provides cancer patients with funds to access therapies which help them greatly while they're undergoing the toxic treatments of chemo and radiation. And we pay for the therapies of acupuncture, acupressure, guided visual imagery, and 2 mindfulness techniques of guided visual imagery and deep breathing meditation. We know we are unique in that we receive calls on a monthly basis from around the United States asking us if we know of another organization just like us. We know we are needed, as evidenced by patients coming back for a second grant, a third grant, and even though we had established that lifetime limit of 3 grants to one person, we still get asked, is there any way you can issue a 4th grant? We know our services are in demand, as the words mindfulness have become rather commonplace, and people understand what acupuncture is. 7 years ago, we would get these glazed look when we talked about acupuncture or mindfulness techniques. We know we are needed. All you have to do is look at that growth chart. Saturday, February 13th was going to be another typical day of tasks for me to complete with the foundation in preparing for tonight's event. And this day, we were prepping with a volunteer photographer who photographed 9 of our beneficiaries. Some of those photos are on the ceiling banners in this room. Gracie, Nancy, Pat, and I were there to welcome, greet, and thank the beneficiaries for coming to the office for a photo shoot. Each beneficiary had a time slot reserved just for them. But what I was not prepared for was what happened next. Each person shared their intimate journey with me, their trials and tribulations, their challenges with the cancer disease, and they each expressed gratitude. Gratitude to us, for giving them funds. And each person asked to be photographed with me. I was not prepared to be photographed with them that day. It was a touching and amazing morning. And though they said they were grateful, I was the one that left that morning feeling grateful, knowing full well that we were blessed by them. For a few of them, it took a lot of energy and effort to get out of bed, get dressed, drive over, and do a photo shoot. They described how hard it was to come out to the photo shoot, and yet how much they really wanted to do this because they wanted to say thank you. Thank you to us. Gracie, Nancy, Pat, and I had our hearts pulled in many ways that morning. In particular, we were emotionally tugged, hearing from a few that their disease had spread. 3 of them shared with me that their cancer spread to their brain. At that point, I just needed to step away, catch my breath, because I wanted to hide my emotions before the next person walked in. Each person that morning had a delightful warmth, and they had such grace and gratitude. They were light, and they gave light. They smiled, and they gave smiles. They were playful, and so we played. 9 different people with different backgrounds, ethnicity, religion, and age. We witnessed that morning that cancer does not care. It does not give a damn about who is a cancer patient. Cancer really does suck. And yet, all we saw that day was the beauty and amazing strength of 9 people. One thing I know for certain, I cannot adequately or eloquently share their stories with you, yet their voices still resonate in my ear. I am grateful, and we are blessed. So tonight, I thank each and every one of you for believing in our mission and our cause, knowing that indeed you are helping. I thank all the volunteers, and there are many volunteers, with a heartfelt and thank you to each volunteer who helped directly or indirectly to get this evening together. And I cannot say thank you enough. I thank our present and our past board members, and I thank my spouse, Gracie, because she has a heck of a lot more strength than I do. And I thank all the many supporters, donors, and sponsors. You're helping us so that we can help cancer patients right here, right now, today, in our Tri-Valley. Thank you.